NVIDIA is lagging its Mag 7 peers in the last month as the NASDAQ has soared to highs. Our next guest gives us the retail take on NVIDIA and why his clients have been buying the dip. Joining us now, Interactive Brokers Chief Strategist Steve Sosnick. Steve, they might not be buying as much NVIDIA, but they're buying a lot of Oracle right now in overtime. So what's your take on how broad this AI story is, especially for some names that we're getting the sense, whether we're talking about Broadcom or now Oracle, that might have seemed secondary before, but now seem to be moving?
Well, John, great to see you. I think there is a little bit of what I'm going to call the broadening out. I've been sort of asserting all along that Broadcom either belongs in the Mag 7 or maybe we can call it the Grade 8. I'm wondering now at this point if Oracle, if they can put up numbers like this and considering their size and and Larry Ellison being the second richest guy in the world, I can't come up with anything for 9 right now, but maybe that acronym needs to be expanded. But I think all things cloud, all things AI are still capturing investors' imaginations. And the fact that you can, the amount of money that's just been put on top of Oracle because of admittedly a very good forecast is just astounding. It shows you the power of these moves.
Yeah, from my back of the napkin calculations right here in overtime, it would be moving from around a $678 billion market cap if this 20% move holds to more than $800 billion in market cap, sort of approaching that $1 trillion mark where, of course, Broadcom crossed a while back. It seems to be, even though we haven't talked about them as mega caps in the past, perhaps adding to the idea that these big stocks can continue to power the market, maybe in part because some stocks that weren't as big are now getting bigger.
That's kind of what's going on. Remember the indices, as we look at them, are very, very top heavy. You have, a handful of stocks make up the majority of the weight certainly in the NASDAQ 100 and to a lesser extent the S&P 500. And so what happens is, as these stocks go, so do the indices. Now, the flip side of that was in April, when the markets hit a bit of an air pocket, shall we say, the bigger the stock, actually, the worse it did. The Mag 7 drastically underperformed the NASDAQ 100, which underperformed the SPX, which underperformed the equal-weighted S&P 500. So, live by the sword, die by the sword. But right now, this momentum is still continuing to carry stocks forward. And it proves to us again that it's not necessarily what the company says for the quarter, it's what they say going forward, because Oracle on a quarterly basis was meh at best. But in terms of the guidance, the market's obviously loving it.
And in a way, Steve, does this Oracle result help to bolster or justify retail investors buying the dip on NVIDIA? Because Oracle says in its release, multi-cloud database revenue from Amazon, Google, and Microsoft grew at an incredible rate of 1,529% in Q1. I mean, part of the multi-cloud story, it's linked to the AI story, and one could figure if they've got demand on that, then they've got demand for NVIDIA chips as well.
Well, it's one giant ecosystem. Remember that NVIDIA's largest customers are 4 of the other Mag 7 stocks. And so if Oracle can basically take that same sort of role as a cloud component, that NVIDIA has as a chip provider, obviously that's going to provide a lot of heft for Oracle because these are the companies that are earning the most money and have the most money to spend. And if they're spending it with Oracle, that's great news for that company's shareholders.